The motion before the House is this House believes in economic interventions. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll start firstly with a small or big quote, depends on how you want to make it. All the mega corporations on the planet make their obscene profits of the labor and suffering of others, with complete disregard for the effects of the workers, environment, and future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, if those mega corporations want public money, then we deserve the public control. And I will explain this by some points, that being firstly the state point. Secondly, practically what the states want by economic interventionism. And thirdly, if I'll have enough time, I'll talk about what will happen if we implement it. So let's start first by the state. And the state, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't want to be this supreme being, this god of everybody. It just wants to be less retarded, let's say like that. We, ladies and gentlemen, believe that the state wants, by intervening and by protecting his population, to become better in his management skills, in his accountability skills, and in all its other skills. And we believe today that by implementing those measurements and by intervening into the flow of the normal economy with taxes, with subsidies, with bailouts and nationalizes, they assure that the population will have a place to work, and the population will have the money required in order to live their lives properly. So, ladies and gentlemen, now finishing with the state thing, we'll go on with what it does. And I'll start firstly by the all-known minimum wage problem. And ladies and gentlemen, the government intervenes in the flow of the economy with this minimum wage. And what it practically assures is that people, when they go working, they will have this minimum payment and this minimum starting point from which they can be able to pay their taxes and also to help their families and to have a normal life. Ladies and gentlemen, without this economic when we don't have this economic interventionism, what happens is that all those major corporations will practically abuse the population, practically abuse its workers. Without this minimum wage, they are practically abusing them to the point that they cannot withstand. And that's what the state really wants. The state wants his people, firstly, to have a normal and decent life, and also not to be abused. And that's why it intervenes. Now going on to the bailout point. And the bailout point is a little bit complicated. Even if we believe that, even if the major population believes that a bailout is an unnecessary and useless thing, we believe, ladies and gentlemen, that by bailouting big companies, we are practically assuring a place for the workers to work. And we also assure that, majorly in those big corporations, we assure that all those people that have the work to place will not lose it, and will continue working and will continue making money and making and continuing their lives. And now we'll go to a point where I'll explain something about those really major companies. And those really major companies are doing a bit of things. Firstly, it doesn't really care because they are profit-oriented. It doesn't really care what happens to their workers. They only care about profit, and they will only care about profit because that's what they're doing and that's what they need. State, because it is not a profit-oriented organism. It wants to assure the good welfare of the population, and that's why in the most cases it intervenes with this economic intervenes. That's why it constantly intervenes by implementing taxes, by implementing bailouts, by implementing nationalizes, and by implementing those minimum wages. And ladies and gentlemen, because today I explained to you that the state, when it tries to economically intervene, tries to help the major population, that the major companies doesn't really care about and see the major population just as numbers to work for them. And because, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that the state only wants, the state has to become more competent in its accountability and its management problems, we sustain this motion. We beg you to sustain this motion, and also we believe that we demand this public control for those public money that the corporations want. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.